one of the topics you've heard us talk about for years. It's all over usually social media and your news plays. Not right now because that's going to be focused on fires, but it's higher interest rates, right?
Yes.
Like it's been higher interest rates. There are still higher interest rates. There are some of the higher ones that we've seen, in the past decade or so. We've talked about it. Like it is very apparent that where they're at. So let's recap though, kind of some 2020 four things. We did see the Federal Reserve start to cut interest rates for the first time in a while, and that was very helpful, at least to know they're trying. So one, they know they're looking at their levels of inflation and things like that, and they're saying, "Hey, we can now start to try to reduce some of these interest rates." Please remember though that the Fed's cutting the interest rates is not mortgage interest rates just being cut. It is Fed's cutting the federal funds rates, which is kind of your borrowing interest rates, right? And then mortgage rates will follow suit, follow closely behind that. So we saw them, cut rates in September and do a couple more, towards the end of the year. Fantastic, great starter place for all of us. But here's kind of what we saw in the profession. And we saw interest rates kind of start to come down from those mid 7 to 7% range and start to push towards those lower 6% ranges, which were great. And that was looking like a really good spot there at the beginning of September. And then we happened to have an election period come up. And just with that, it's change of presidential, candidate potentially. At that point in time, we all obviously know the outcome now. There is a change. But so uncertainty of change, economic policies and stuff, and that is kind of an uncertainty and some risk or risk adverse aspects to markets, right? So interest rates were down, and we just saw them push back up to the kind of those sevens and above seven range, with real no apparent reason. Unfortunately, besides the election, is kind of where that driving fact was, because you had other things kind of staying the same. So here we kind of been stuck at these levels still of these higher interest rates. We haven't seen them come down yet, but we know that the Federal Reserve still has an outlook for 2025 to do interest rate cuts so far, as we know. So it's okay.